says we are doing good at 61. Just waiting for it to pop up on the other side. And we are live. Hey, thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. I am Totally Tim. I'm your host. This is Looking at Media. And I know I haven't done a stream for a really super long time. As a matter of fact, had some problems because OBS had not updated for such a long time that it was really super hard to get it actually functioning with all of my stuff on here. But anyway, so I've had some questions lately about a few different things, and I wanted to address those questions and post a quick video, basically. And the primary question is about this script. And so we're doing the register to scanner. So this has to do with the scanner. Now remember, this is register 2. So if you're using register 1, or if you've only got a single register, then just use register 1. So we'll go through it really quick, and then we'll be done. There was some other questions about the sale of the program. It does not come with the entirety. It doesn't come with FileMaker Pro Advanced 14. That in and of itself is an $800 program. What it comes with, what it is basically just a file. So you get this file, and it comes with all of the scripts and everything, and it's pretty much ready to go. You just put your inventory in, put your prices and stuff on it, and you can use it. However, there is a warning, and I have to give you that warning really quick. And one of the warnings is that Apple has updated their systems. And now when you are trying to use your SIM-code scanner, we've been having some issues with scanning products into the new Apple iPads. They don't seem to be working like they were before. So let's get started really quick so you guys can know what this is. So, and I'll explain every single thing as we go through these really quick. So the very first thing is we have a pause script. So we want to pause the script, and it's basically just a 2-second or 1 second. In my case, I've done a 1 second pause. So if you click on it, it'll say what's the duration that you want it to be. And so I chose a single 1 second duration. That works really super well when you are using a Wi-Fi or a system where your iPad might not get the information instantaneously. But if you're using like a laptop and you're using the scanner on a laptop, which is what you should be doing because that's the perfect way to do it actually, is using a laptop, it's instantaneous and you don't really need to pause the script. Then we're going to go into some if statements, and the if is empty register to username. So it's basically saying if someone did not log into the computer, then this is what we want you to do. Show a custom dialog that says error code says critical data is missing. Now you can have this say whatever you want to. I used user code error, and then after that I actually typed in the message, and I got rid of the button number 2 because I never use it, so it's not necessary to use it. But I basically said critical data is missing. Please return to the main menu and log into the system before continuing. Kind of a help thing there. And then we're going to set the field register to scanner data back to 0, because what happens is you might get someone to scan something and you don't want that information to kind of stay there in that little spot, so you want to get rid of it. So this just gets rid of it really quick, and then it takes them back to the entry page, and then obviously halt the script. And then we'll end the if, because wherever you have an if, you have to have an end if so that you can stop it. So it'll jump over from if to end if. If your primary statement is false, then it will jump over it, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what we're looking for. And then we have a second one, which basically says if is empty register to scanner data, which is the little box when you're scanning stuff into. It would be a little box, and I will show you guys that stuff. I will show you that. Register to scan. If that's empty, then we're going to show a custom dialog, same as before, except for this one, we're going to say no data was captured. So if for some reason there's the box was triggered somehow, then this will stop, cease and desist basically the script for this. And it'll halt the script. And then remember, all of this stuff is triggered. So how this triggers is, let's get off of here and we'll just revert it back to, because we didn't really make any changes, right? So we'll exit the layout. We'll go to register 2. I think this is my code. Go to register 2. So this is the scanner data box I was telling you guys about. So what happens is if I scan something into my system via the scanner, it will tell me. As a matter of fact, let's turn it on. There we go. So we've got it turned on. Let me see if I can find something quick to scan. So if I scan something that I don't have in the system, let's say, this is actually in the system. So let me scan this really quick. And see how it comes up like immediately? So it works really super well. And how that works is if you go in and you edit the layout, and in our scanner data here, if we can see the little trigger on the so set script triggers. So if we go into it says on object modify. So whenever you modify this for any reason, then it'll make the script, it'll trigger the script to activate. Ping, right? And on event, the script will run after the selected becomes object auto. So when you select that, you basically get to select what program that you want to run. So we'll say okay, we'll stop. I think that is, I don't think I have any conditional formatting. I don't think I have any buttons set up. Nope. Okay. So we're good to go. So now we know what happens when but you do have to click on it. You can't, like if you just click off, then it does nothing, right? So, but you do have to click on it. And if you try adding the data in by hand, like 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, it'll say read error because you can't type it in that fast, right? So it doesn't go in near as fast. So you have to actually scan it. So if you do have a product, see if this has a barcode on it. Nope, that does not have a barcode on it. Okay, well there's nothing I have that's just sitting in front of me that doesn't have the correct barcode, but it will give you an error script if you do try to, as a matter of fact, I think this is actually on there. It is on there, so it's a T. But if you do have a product that doesn't, it'll say error code and then it'll go right back to this. So let's go back in and we'll look at that script again and we'll see what is going on with the script. And it should come right back to that script. So this is where, like, if you close this off and you exit the layout, you'll see right down here at the bottom, that's me. That's me. So it's logged me into the system. Because when I was in I'll just dismiss this really quick, but when you go to this, when you go into here, what happens is if I log myself in, that's kind of weird that it's way over there. It says please log out. Okay, no problem, but it was way over here. When you log in, it has a little, it says active and it puts you in the system and all that stuff. So if you're in the system, like once I log in and I go to register 2, it'll automatically put me in. It'll log me into the system and say you're logged in. So that's why I'm able to get in and do all of this really cool stuff. But we're going to go in and we're going to look at that that script that we were looking at before. And remember, today's video is all about answering the question about this particular script because it's a very complicated script and there's a lot of data in this script. Altogether, there is a huge amount of data that's in the script. I am going to pop out my chat and I'm going to move it so you guys might see it move. I'm going to move it just so that I can see it because I have triples. What just happened? Okay, it's back. Hello. Okay, so but I closed out. Let's see. Did I close that out? That's really weird. let me. Like I said, this thing is so weird. We've been having these issues like crazy. Let me pop back into here and see if I am in the right spot. Sorry, it's taking me a while. I'll be right. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. It just like totally turned it off. So, okay, so I am still live. Okay, good. Now I will restore the chat, and then I will set it back. I will pop it back out and move it where I had it before, so you guys will see it move. Okay, and then I'll bring up my FileMaker. Okay, now we're back where we were. Sorry, like I said, they've done a lot of updates on the Windows, and it's been driving me insane. So we got through the first part, and the second part is, it says if the scanner data, which you guys can see right over here, it says if the scanner data is empty. If the scanner data is empty, then we want to halt the script. But we want to show a custom dialog. We want to tell people, hey, Andrew, can you make sure the lights are on? Yeah. We want people to we want to say, hey, there was no data. So that's the reason for this secondary if. Now we're going to go through the third if, and there's, like I said, there's a lot of ifs in this. So in the third if, we're gonna say if, and right down here in the corner is the quantity. So we can add a quantity. So if we have a product sitting in front of us and we have 10 of them, we can add 10 to this, and then we can scan it. So add 10 first and then scan it, or we can just scan it 10 times. It doesn't matter. But in this particular case, it'll say if the quantity data is empty, then we'll just set that field at 1. So it'll just be 1 at a time instead of, like 10, right? Now we're going to start setting variables. And the variables that we're going to set is a lock data. And what this has to do with, and I want to show you guys just real quick what this is about, is the lock data is... Let me see if I can just diminish it. Okay, so the lock data has to do with this hold button. So, because when you hold something, you have to secure all that data and then put it on a different file and then recall it later. So in the hold button, that's where we would see that. So we'll bring this back up and we'll go through the hold button in just a second. Then we'll set the variable, the quantity on register to quantity data. That was just my thing shutting off. So we're going to set the variable the quantity, which remember is 1 if we didn't fill it with something already. We'll set the SKU number, which is, I've got a $SKU, if you guys can't see that. And the value is, how I did this is going to be hard to, what I did was I told it to read from the left 9 spaces. So I wrote, and you can search if you just type in left, I believe. Let me press enter and type in left. Yeah, there it is, left. So if you double click on left, what happens is it says text and then number of characters. So what I did was I typed in, I used, for the text part of it, you just highlight the text part, and then I went to register to, and then scanner data, and if you just click on the scanner data, it will fill it. As you see it just did. And then here, all you have to do is supply it with a number. So you can say 9. Pretty simple. And now that's how you do it. But the reason why is because we were having, and this is obviously the system that I'm currently using right this very second. This is the system that I'm using in my business right this very second. But what was happening was I was getting SKU numbers or barcode numbers that some of them were 8, some of them were 9, some of them were 10, some of them were 30, some of them didn't even have any numbers on them. And so I got myself a Zebra, a TLP 2824 Plus, and I create my own barcodes and I just type in a 9-digit number. But if there is a product that already has a SKU on it, I just take the first 9 digits You don't have to do this. This is no, you don't, if you're not worried about the digit count, you don't have to do this. You can just say register to scanner data. You don't have to count the digits from the 9. But so what I did was, let's see if it tells me change something. You can just set the variable skew, and then the value would be the register to scanner data. Okay, so when you do value, you don't have to type in left. You do value, you just come over here and you click on this, and when you specify it, all you do would be select the scanner data box, not the left. Okay? So, but if you're like me and you want to do the left, then do the left. Set the field, register to scanner data. So once that we've set the variable, once we have it in our minds, then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set the scanner data. We're going to clear the field, and that's why we have the little quotation marks, and we just selected those from the system. So when you go in and you specify the calculated result, you can specify all the way up here in the top the little quotation marks, which basically is 0, it's erased, it's nothing. So it means nothing. But you can actually put something in there if you want to, but we're not going to get into that. And then we're going to set the field, the quantity, which is, remember, this is quantity over here in this far corner. We're going to set that quantity to 0 as well. So we're 0 it out, get rid of it, delete anything that's in there. And then we're going to freeze the window. And the reason why we're freezing the window is because we don't want the viewer, we don't want the associate or the person that's actually using the register to see all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, right? We want them just to be able the script to be able to run cleanly and freshly without anybody interfering with it. So then we're going to go to the layout. We're going to go to our base inventory, and then we'll enter the find mode. You guys should know this. This is all old hat stuff that we've done for all of the series. It's a basic find. We're basically go to a layout, we enter the find mode, we're going to set the field, and this one is the SKU number. So we'll set the SKU number, $SKU. We're going to set the error capture on, and the reason why is because if it doesn't find it, we don't want it to bring up a field saying modify the find or whatever, right? We want to just be like, we don't want to see that. If you can't find it, then just show nothing, right? And then we'll perform the find. Now, if it is empty, see, this is what we were just talking about. So if that SKU number is empty, so if it didn't find anything and it's empty, then we're going to bring in a new window. And this is the new window that I'm bringing in is a document style, and it's a full-size window. As you can see, it's 700 by 1270, so it's a full-size window. And then we'll pause the script for a duration of about 2 seconds. And what we're doing during that pause window is we're going to, it's going to be, we actually are going to go to this layout that I created. So in case you guys are wondering, it's kind of cool. And the layout is, let me just get out of this really quick. We'll just revert it back to what it was. So if we go to this layout, let's see if I can find it. Warning 1. So if we go, this is the layout. It's just the layout. It says read error. That's it. I think I have 2. It's exactly the same thing, yeah. So what that does is, and there's one for each register, FYI. So what that does is entry page. Let's go back to the entry page. Where were we just at? Okay. So now if we exit the layout, you'll see I'm still in register 2 because I went through the back way. I went through the admin section kind of thing, like I shouldn't be doing on an operating system. But the cool thing is I've got it now to where if I do try to get in there, it'll give me a warning message. This is being used currently, but if you say OK and then you just re-click on it, it'll close me out and bring me back in. So let's go back to our script. Now that we've gone off on all these wild tangents, right? But I wanted you guys to see that this is what I did. So that layout that I did, which was the error warning, it goes to that layout, it pauses for a second in a new window. Now the reason why I did that is because we didn't capture the invoice number to where we could go back to that exact same. I mean, we can go back to that, but I just didn't want to create things. So I didn't want to create an issue. So by opening a new window with that page, that worked out really well, because the window, if it closes, it's not halting anything and it's not messing with anything. So create a window that looks like that, or go ahead and create a page that looks like that one that I just showed you guys a second ago. And just call it warning 2 or warning 1 or whatever, and then the height of 700 and the width of 1270, and you can go there. And so it says go to warning 2, warning window, and then pause the script for 2 seconds. So it's not going to stay there. It's gonna stop for that 2 seconds to let you know that it didn't capture any data, or that the SKU that you just tried to scan was unrecognizable by your system, and it gives you an adequate amount of time so that you can say, oh, okay, that didn't scan. I didn't quite scan that correctly. And then we'll close the window and we'll go back to our original layout, which is really super good, because remember, we didn't exit that original layout. We're kind of still there. And then we'll go to the field, register to scanner data, and we'll halt the script. So basically it just goes right back to this window where we were just at on the invoice. It just goes back to here, and it just halts the script. So after that, we end the if, and then we're gonna say if not is empty, inventory sale price. So here we said if the SKU is empty, but so we have to kind of do this in a layered step, how this actually works. So we said if there is no SKU number, show the warning, and then go back to the regular page and just act like nothing ever happened, like they didn't do anything. But now we have to say if, and the reason why we're doing this, if not is empty, the sale price. So the reason why we did this is so that if you want to place an item on sale, all you have to do is go into your inventory and put it on sale. Just by filling in the sale price. And then later on you can go back and you can delete the sale price, and it doesn't affect the script at all, which is really super nice, because you can place it on sale for a minute, an hour, a day, a week, a month, whatever you want to, and then just go back and delete that, and you're golden. Just delete the sale price, and then it just goes back to regular full price. So if the sale price, if there's something in the sale price, then it wants you to use, that's what it says, set variable $ price value inventory sale price. But if it is empty, the inventory sale price, then we're going to set the $ price value to the inventory retail price. And we'll kind of go through that. Remember, we're about through this script, so it's pretty simple. We'll go through the rest of it really quick. And then so after this, we're going to start setting all of our variables. We'll set the pro code, value, inventory, product ID number. Set the variable product, which is the value, inventory, product name, so we know what the name of the product is. That's kind of a big deal. And then set the variable quantity, inventory, quantity, minus quantity. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, on our inventory, if you sold 10 of them, remember that the $ quantity, that's what it is it'll be 10. If not, then it's 1. If you didn't add anything, then it's 1. So what it's saying is we want to set the field, the quantity field, minus 1. So quantity minus 1, or quantity minus $ quantity, whatever that was. So 10 or 1 or 5 or how many ever we chose. Then we're going to set the inventory note box, get current date. And the reason why we did that was because we want to be able to say, I haven't sold this product for 6 months, or hey, look, I just sold one of these yesterday. So if you have it, you can be much more encoded than that. You can actually go back and say, I mean, if you wanted to keep track of like all of them, you could keep track of all of them. I don't. I just want to know, have I sold one in 2 weeks? Have I sold one in 2 months? That way I can kind of see where my product trends are, because that's kind of a big deal. So that way I can say, look, I haven't sold any pencils in 3 months. I'm not going to buy any more pencils. I'm not going to carry pencils in my store anymore. So let's get rid of the pencils. We'll put them on sale, get rid of them, and we'll move to another product. That's the reason why I did that. So, and then after that, we'll commit our records request. We'll show all records. It's very important because we need to make sure, because once you perform a find, it's only a single record that's left in there. So we want to show all the records. We want to bring them all back. So the page is ready to go for the next time. And then we're going to go to our original layout, go to the record request page last, which should be the correct one. And then we've got a minor if statement. The minor if statement is if the register to invoice number is not equal to our lock button, if it's not equal to our lock. Now remember, I wrote these a couple of months ago. So apparently the lock that we just talked about at the top of the script, apparently the lock was not for our hold button, but was for to make sure that we were on the right invoice. And so that's what that's for. So register to invoice number, if it's not equal to our lock variable that we set, then we'll enter the find mode. We will set the invoice number to the lock number, and we'll perform the find. End the if. So it's ended. That way we're going back to that original record. Now on the register 1 invoice scanner, we actually did a little bit of change to that. And what we did was the inventory quantity, show all records, inventory, enter find mode. Here we said set field register invoice number to lock, and then perform the find, and then go to portal row, select last. Set all of the fields, commit records, scanner data. Okay, so I guess they are actually the same. I was thinking I had made a change to the invoice number system. I do know, like, when you exit the invoice number, how that works is, let me exit this layout so that, because our system needs to be put back into use currently, so I think he should be okay with that. Because he's out there actually using the system right now, and if I tie it up like this, then he can't actually use it. But our hold system, if you guys haven't seen it, it actually will hold any sales that you have, 2 of them. But once you open a held sale, you have to close it. You can't just re-hold it again. So I'm not sure if I actually touched on that while we were working through all this stuff, and I think our execute button, I added some extra values to it. So instead of just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I went all the way up to 100. Super simple, easy to do. Goes back to the invoice. And here, what I did was, on this particular page, is I added a, like if we edit the layout, you'll see active 1, active 2, active 3, invoice menu 1, 2, and 3. The reason why I added these, and I believe they should be on the system, so you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but on the video that we've already done, but how this works is the active 1 window basically tells me, so if I get out of here, basically tells me that register 1 is currently in use right this very minute. And this is the last known invoice number. Now, why I did this was so that it was a completely separate way of ensuring that the invoice numbers are true and correct at all times. So you can't confuse them or mess them up, right? So they're always going to be exactly where they're supposed to be. So in this sense, we were on 828. So if we are to go back into the system, it will use this number right here on register 2 and we'll be at 820, as you can see, 828. So it locks it in on that entry page, so that when you go to that invoice, it's always the exact right invoice. And you don't get lapping invoices, which is really super nice. I will say though that if you come in like I just did and you open this invoice, this date will stay the same until you make a change. So until you scan something, like if I logged in and this wasn't today's date, like let's say I logged in last week and I didn't make any changes, then this would be, as a matter of fact, if you go back in this video, you'll see, because when I logged in, I think the date was probably not the correct date, but now that I'm on this, it will maintain this date until I make a change to the actual invoice. But let's go in really quick and let's just do the last part of that script that we were talking about. So we set the field. Now you guys can stop the video at any time and go back through and double check your script, because this was the biggest part of it. People were having trouble with the script. They were like, I'm not getting the script down pat. But so from here, we'll show our records. We'll go back to our original layout, which is our invoice. We'll go to records request page last. And then if the invoice number is not correct, we'll enter the find mode. We'll find the right invoice number, perform that find, and then we'll end the if. Now I do have to get off of this so he can actually get into it, because I think he's trying to use it right now. But what that does is that takes us back to make sure that we are on the correct one, because what you don't want is you don't want to be scanning stuff and then scan one thing and be on invoice number 828, and then scan something and be on invoice 829, and then scan something and be on invoice 830, right? You don't want every product to be on a different invoice. You want them all to be on the same invoice until you close that. So that's kind of the big deal, that you're on, all your product is ending up on the same invoice. So go back to managing scripts, as I believe he just closed that. As he did. Okay. So in the bottom, we'll go to, after that, we want to go to a portal row. Remember when we were building the invoice section, each one of those is a portal row. So we want to go to the portal row, the last one, which happens to be on the top. I don't know why. It just does. It starts on the bottom and works its way up, right? So it's the last one. So go to the last one. We're going to set our fields, the product name, the product ID, the quantity, the price, and these are all $ product, pro code, quantity, and price. Then we'll commit the records, which basically secures it. It's basically, okay, here it is. Because if you remember when we were setting all this stuff up, see, this is the product quantity. When we're setting all of this stuff, go to register scan net data, which will take us right back to this original thing, and stop the script. When we were setting this page up, and we had all these things, all of these parts, the price, total, price, product name, quantity, all that neat stuff that we set up our, when we're managing our database, that these are all automatic. So they will automatically fill in as we're, so if you got $1 and then another $1 and another $1, our subtotal price total will add all that together. So you'll have $3, and then it'll come over here to the subtotal, be $3, add the tax automatically. So all of these are functions of mathematical equations that we pre-put in for each field. Ta-da! There's usually so many things going on in my brain all at one time. It's hard to discuss these things because it's like I got to remember that all of this stuff is happening tertiarily. It's happening on like different levels all at the same time. It's like a tree. There's plants or there's leaves growing on all of the branches. So same way when you're doing one of these. Currently the program that you get, so to answer that question, to answer the first question, that is the script. So you guys seen it. The only difference between if we manage those scripts, the only difference between our register 1 and our register 2 is that this one will say register 1 and the other one will say register 2 scanner. I mean, that's pretty much it. And if you're doing the register 1, here it is. It's right in front of you. You guys can see it. Register scanner data. If it's empty, register scanner data, register, and it's all set for that, the invoice, the first invoice page. And then the second one is all set for the second one. So here it says register to scanner data. Here it says register scanner data. But it's all pretty much the same. And then, so the answer to the second question, which was the sale price of the program itself, it just comes in a file, and the file is basically what you see is what it is. So if we exit this, I believe, I'm not really sure, I believe that, I don't remember what the code is. See if it lets me do it. Nope, won't let me do it. Okay, dismiss. Exit. Okay, but there is an admin. Let's see. Let me do it a different way. So there is an admin window where you can actually go into the monitor for the day's sales. You can go into whole list inventory, and this is the inventory page I was telling you guys about. So if you go into the sale price, which I believe is, let's go back, this. So here on this particular one, you would scan a product, and then all you would do is go in and fill in the sale price, and it would instantaneously put it on sale through all of the registers. Instantaneously put it on sale, all of the registers. And then when you want to take something off of sale, you come back, you scan it, and it takes it off of sale. And then all you have to do is highlight this and delete the sale price. Simple, easy, painless. And then you can go back to admin. There is user data, employee list, time cards, overall sales. There is like a slight issue with overall sales because if you go into overall sales and you click on it, it will not populate the fields until you click on the page for some weird reason. It just does that, and then it kicks you out. It doesn't kick you out, it's just you can't go back to the admin page from there. You have to actually go back to the entry page and then come all the way back through it. So, but it's no big deal. I never use it. I use the monitor more than anything else, which is basically what that does is the monitor shows you the sales that you have to that second of the day. And then the security shows you whenever there's an error code, it basically shows you when it was, the date that it was. So our last error code was on 12/26. Someone tried to make a change to the modifier. And then the error code 0493, simple, easy, painless. That tells me everything that I need to know about the security part. Then there's the scan in where you can actually scan in products. So if you want to, let's say you get 25 of something, you could basically just say 25, and then you have to actually click on this scanner window, and then you just scan what product it was. I gotta turn it back on. Sorry for the noise. Turn it back on, and then if you scan the product, it just put 25 of them in your inventory, just like that. Super simple, fast. So if you've got a product that you're selling a lot of, you can easily come to this page, and all you got to do is put in a quantity. I got 25 or 50 or 100 of them, and then scan the product, and it will automatically take it. When you are bringing in, let's go back to here. So when you are bringing in product for the first time, you would go to this one, the product page inventory. And if you scan something here, then it will bring up, you'll scan it and then it'll say, well, I don't recognize that. And then you'll have to add the name and the category, and you create all your own categories, the description, the current barcode. You can add amounts, subtract amounts, place it on sale, modify the price. It's pretty self-explanatory, actually, pretty self-explanatory. But currently the product is not for sale in any other form. So it's just, you get what you get, that's it. It's just like, it's complete. I use it every single day. I will obviously vacate any of the inventory or prices or anything like that, so you have to add all your own inventory in there. There won't be any records in it. It'll be the base model, but it'll be exactly like this. So FYI. So I hope I have been of some help, and I hope I've answered your question. You guys were able to see the script. That was the primary one people were having issues with, not being able to see that script. Thank you very much for watching me. You guys are amazing. I haven't seen you guys for like ever. I haven't actually done any new videos. Hopefully in the future I will be doing a few more or some more FileMaker videos. I really want to do more FileMaker videos, but right now I've got my attentions on some other things, and I'm doing some woodworking videos on Luculent, and so that's going to be really super cool. So do make sure that you check those out, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Next time I am around, I will let you guys know. So make sure to hit the icon, hit the subscribe button, and the little bell thingy, so you guys know when I do come on, because it's going to be kind of random here for a while. But and don't forget, you can always chat too, because I always have my chat window, so you guys can see the chat window. I can see I can see the chat window. You guys can't see it unless I like move it over there. Then you guys can see it, right? Hey everybody, thanks for joining me tonight. I will see you guys in the next episode. Until then, be good to each other. It means something. And thanks for watching me. See you guys next time. Bye, guys.